So Bryce sent me something interesting the other day.
Okay.
So he uses Microsoft Word.
All right.
As you know, I hate Microsoft Word.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use it.
You find it appalling.
I find it loathsome. And also, fuck Bill Gates.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I did not realize, like, I knew they were implementing it, but they have, like, a new AI software thing.
Okay.
So he sent me a video of him trying this out, and he asked me if I knew anything about it. I don't know what the... Yeah, I'm not sure what the setting is to use this, but it's a little pop-up box that says draft with Copilot. So draft with Copilot. I'm assuming Copilot's the AI.
Yeah.
All he wrote was short story outline. That's all he wrote. He didn't write. As a prompt, you could put in up to 2,000 words.
Oh, wow.
So if you wanted to, I would imagine, like, hey, I want a story that's blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And maybe it writes the story. I don't know if it's that detailed, but he just did short story outline, hit generate. And this fucking I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm interested to see how you feel. So it came up with all these bullet points.
Okay.
So this says introduction, setting, and these are in bullet points. So introduction, setting, a small village on the edge of an enchanted forest. Main characters, Sophia, a brave and curious 12-year-old girl. Eldrick, an old wise forest guardian. Finn, Sophia's loyal dog. Queen Era, the mysterious something or other. Then it has another one, conflict. Sophia hears rumors about a hidden treasure deep within the enchanted forest. Despite the villagers' warning, she decides to venture into the forest with Finn, and they encounter various magical creatures, both friendly and dangerous. It continues. Hold on, I gotta scroll. So he has... Oh, you scroll too fast, Bryce. It has rising action. I can't read rising action. You skip past it. And it has another box is climax. They finally reach the heart of the forest and discover the hidden treasure. I'm not going to read all these. Falling action. So it's like, the old triangle of rising climax and falling. Falling action. Queen Era awards Sophia the magical amulet, blah, blah, blah. Conclusion. Sophia becomes a hero in her village. So it has bullet points. It literally creates the whole story for you.
Yeah.
He didn't write he didn't write a prompt.
No.
He didn't write, I want a magical fairy story with.
Right.
So what is the AI stealing this from?
Right. Well, I mean, that's very paint by number.
Generic, yes, but still, it stole that from something.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't, like I said, he didn't write, fantasy story.
Right, yeah.
But it has all the conflicts. It has every part. I could see that helpful. So, for instance, the K. Kowalski boxing story I just wrote. If I just wanted to write, hey, 1970-ish Pulp boxing story in the style of Robert E. Howard, Steve Costigan stories, and just put outline, and then maybe go into more detail where it's like down on his luck boxer, recently divorced, estranged from his daughter, comeback fight, something like that, and it would give me the whole outline of how to write the story. That could be helpful, but at the same time,
I don't like it.
Something about it pisses me off. Now, it didn't write the story for you, but it essentially did.
It basically did, though. I wouldn't mind it, if it gave you just how if he put in just short story idea and it sped up fantasy quest tale looking for whatever. If it was something like that, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's that could be at least a good starting off point for you, but to go through it like that.
Well, here's the thing though, you don't have to follow that. You can just use it as this is where I am on.
But how many people are gonna do that though?
Well, that's the problem.
People are just gonna copy
verbatim, just not use it to write their fucking story, basically. Well, here's where I am pro AI. If you're using it like that, is it's not different to me than just writing prompts.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of books or cards or just all kinds of, there's whole Instagram accounts that are just writing prompts. It's like a demon comes up from the earth and he has 4 boners for horns and what happens to him? And then it's like, okay, that's your prompt.
But again, I don't mind that because it's just
an idea.
It's just a couple sentence
But this is more detailed.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about it is the detailness of it.
But I mean, if you just put short story outline and it gave you all that, like I said, if I had a story already in mind and where I want it to go, I just wanted to fill in some gaps, not write it for me. Just I need some rising action. What would be a good? But then that's the same thing. It's when you're not creating that though. So you didn't create the climax, that did, and you just wrote about it.
Oh, then also imagine because he just put in, short story I did. So imagine if he did put in, because you said you get up to 2,000 words. So imagine the more detailed thing you put in there.
The more detailed the response
is probably gonna be.
What is the difference though from doing that and grabbing a Harry Potter book and just going through like the first Harry Potter book and taking all the detail out of it? So it's like, okay, Harry Potter, I don't know. I shouldn't use Harry Potter because I don't know shit about it. Lord of the Rings. So, there's a ring and there's a Frodo meets Gandalf and he's going to go on an adventure. Oh, here's the rising action. Here's the climax. And you take all that and you just basically change the name settings and everything, but you use the formula.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between stealing from that and this just stealing?
Because you're the one stealing.
Yeah, but you're still just taking someone else's ideas and rewriting it.
But,
like fan fiction.
Yeah.
You're just rewriting someone else's ideas. I feel like that's what you're doing with this AI prompt shit. Whatever, because you don't know who it stole it from.
What I would be interested in is like us being there together, like have both of we both have our computers and we're on there and we both put in the same thing and see. Yeah, I'm sure it'd be different, but like if we do it enough, be like, ooh, I eventually get that same fantasy thing that you got.
You probably get the same thing, just different names.
Yeah.
So I don't like it. I think that's bad. I don't like that the writer doesn't have to be creative anymore. Like, where's your imagination? And obviously, that's going to be derivative of anything that it's stolen from because AI doesn't create original ideas. So you're never going to have an original story using that synopsis or that structure for a story. If you just use it as, I just need beginning, middle, and end small events, okay. So it's like, oh, I'm going to have a enchanted forest story. The girl starts here. She ends up here, and then the ultimate end is here. But you can rip off a Zelda game or something for like that information's out there. You don't really need to have AI created lazy fucking bullshit created for you. I don't like it. I hate AI now. Like I'm just at the point now where I find AI is pretty evil. I think it should be used just as a tool for basic things. Like I have no problem websites if they just use a generic AI cover image or YouTube fucking thumbnails or whatever. If it's just something that you're not making money on, but anything you're making money on, don't use fucking AI.
Yeah.
For one. Anything you're selling, don't use AI. If you're doing book covers, don't use fucking AI. Hire someone.
Right.
Don't use fucking shitty AI. Don't use it. Don't take jobs away from people. If it's just like, oh, you want to make a quick Instagram story, some people are against using AI for just like random images but you write the actual text over them. It's like, I don't think it really matters. Nobody's looking at the image that much. It's just a background, basically. The practice before, like just use like the old DPW website, the practice back in those days, like we needed cover images and stuff. It was just use, licensed pictures from like a stock website.
That's what bit us in the ass and fucking stopped the website is like, if we had the AI thing back then, we could have just for that thing been like AI like crazy bookstore pictures,
Yeah, and didn't have to actually use the real picture that turned out to be nefarious. Yeah, that would have been easier, but also at the same time, people weren't as sue happy as they are now. That was a one-off awful experience. But I feel that the AI stuff should be limited to non-profit, cheap things that like, I'm making a flyer for my church. Okay, use AI. You don't have to pay somebody to fucking create a big, painting. If you can, yeah, but you don't really have to for something you're just giving out for free, no. But when you go beyond that, and it's like, hey, I'm writing a book and I need a cover, or I'm making a comic and I need art.
Yeah, I mean, especially too, because like whenever paying somebody to do it, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be better than the AI art is.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with using the AI for very minimal things, but I don't think it should ever go beyond that. And the people that are writing books using AI or short stories or any of that stuff should be fucking beat with a hammer. You're not a fucking writer if you're using AI. Fuck you. You are listening to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me today, Spencer, the Kilkenny Koala Killer Church. There's not koalas in Kilkenny. That's Ireland.
Yeah.
It's weird. Are you importing them, or
Yes.
are you just from Kilkenny and you're killing?
No, I'm bringing koalas there just for the sole purpose of killing them in.
Why do you want to kill koalas? They're so cute. Something to do.
So what's the hepatitis or
Chlamydia.
Chlamydia.
They're lousy with chlamydia, which is an odd thing for a koala to have. I don't know. I never really looked into why they have so much chlamydia, but shame on the man who gets chlamydia from a koala. You know he's out there.
Why do you think they got it to begin with?
I know. You know that guy's out there, Mike. You know what we're reading today?
No.
The Lester Dent Pulp Fiction Formula.
Okay.
Who's Lester Dent?
I'm gonna pulp writer. I'm assuming.
Master Fiction Plot. That's a book you can buy. Lester Dent, Dead at the Takeoff. I don't know. Is Lester Dent the man I'm reading? I don't know who Lester Dent is. The name, that sounds very pulpy.
Yeah.
Old Dent head. Lester Dent's Master Fiction Plot, often referred to as the Lester Dent Formula, is a widely circulated guide to writing a saleable 6,000-word pulp story. There you go. Right there in the introduction. So the Lester Dent Master Fiction Plot, you could read about this at mysteriouspress.com. I would imagine if you looked up Lester Dent Pulp Fiction, it would be probably the first thing. I am looking at a simplified page because the regular page was unsimplified, Spencer.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Now, I've just recently dove headfirst into a pulp story that I finished, and I am, hopefully as the airing of this episode has been sent off, I'm supposed to send it today because the place I'm sending it to, their submissions open February 1st, but as of 11:38 a.m. on Saturday, February 1st, they have the guidelines and everything and say they're open, but the actual submission page is not working. I want to be the first guy, see? I want to submit my story, and then they say, here's some money, we're going to buy that story, see? And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wear very high-waisted pants up to the nipples.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so Lester Dent. He's a Master Fiction Plot guy. I don't even know if Lester Dent's a real guy at this point, but this is a formula, a master plot, not a regular plot, not an amateur plot,
a master plot,
not a novice plot, not an intermediate plot, not other words with the word plot after them, master plot for any 6,000-word pulp story. So if you want to write 6,000 words and you need to get that very pulpy, this will help you. It has worked on adventure, detective, western, and war air. War air, not war, war air. So I'm thinking the old school, which I've never read, and it might be a fun genre, the old school flight stories like World War II fighter pilots.
Yeah.
'Cause that used to be very popular. That was in the comics a lot. I did read those. The old, I have a collection somewhere. Master Ace, not Master Ace, Enemy Ace maybe. It was like an old World War II pilot comics, like they were old fight comics.
Well, just the war comics in general were a big thing back in the day.
Yeah, I want to say they were called Enemy Ace, and it was a fun genre. It tells exactly where to put everything. It shows definitely just what must happen in each successive 1,000 words. Now that sounds like our AI intro. No yarn of mine written to the formula has yet failed to sell. No yarn of mine. So this person has followed Lester Dent's formula and has sold everything.
Yeah.
Selling like gangbusters.
Like hotcakes?
Hotcakes. And see, I'm always worried about using words like gangbusters and hotcakes just for the fact that I feel like everything now has a racist origin.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
They sell like hotcakes because hotcakes used to be a popular thing during Depression era. Yeah, but it was actually made on the backs of immigrants who didn't get paid for their labor. I'm like, oh. What about gangbusters? Well, it's funny you say that. Nope, don't want to know. Don't want to know. The business of building stories seems not much different from the business of building anything else. Here's how it starts. Number 1, a different murder method for villain to use. I always like to go with frozen icicle to the eye. It melts. No evidence.
No evidence.
Unless you made it out of your own pee or cum, because then it's going to leave some DNA. In the old days, yes, that's preferred. But now they can detect that.
Shitsicle.
I always thought about the shitsicle. You know what you do? You diarrhea shit on a plate, put it in a freezer, and then take it out of the freezer so it's in a disc shape. you carve it up with a spatula and you slide it under somebody you don't like's front door, and then when it defrosts, they just got wet shit all in their house.
So elaborate, but I love it.
I may or may not have experience. You could use piss too, I guess. Yeah. But the shit just seems more nefarious.
Well, the piss eventually dries. Shit just stays there.
It's still going to be shit even when it dries. It's going to smell and be clumpy. Number 2, a different thing for villain to be seeking. Number 3, a different locale. Number 4, a menace, which is to hang like a cloud over the hero. And generally, pulp stories always have clear hero, clear villain. You can think of spy versus spy. You know, you had the one spy, the white spy, then the black spy, and one of them usually was the bad guy. But I think in that case, they were both just kind of assholes.
Yeah, because they would always get one would always kill the other.
I always assumed one was America and one was Russia.
Yeah,
one would always kill the other. I don't think those were specifically bad and good, but in each story, I think one was a bad guy, one was a good guy, supposedly. But if you look at like the old westerns, you always had the clear good guy, the clear bad guy. Most of them, the bad guy, it was a racist caricature of a Mexican or something in the westerns. But one of these different things would be nice. 2 better, 3 swell. It may help if they are fully in mind before tackling the rest. So you don't have to use all of these, but the more you use, the better off you'll be. A different murder method could be different. No shit. No fucking shit, Lester Dent. Thinking of shooting, knifing, hydrocanic, cyanic. I don't know what that means. Garroting. Don't know. What's garroting?
I don't know.
Poison needles, scorpions, a few others, and writing them on paper gets them where they may suggest something. I don't know what happened. I feel like I'm having a stroke reading this. I feel like the guy who wrote this is 98 years old, and he lived through the Depression. He had a job during the Depression. He was 38 years old. Scorpions and their poison bite, maybe mosquitoes or flies treated with deadly germs. I like where he's going with it. I don't know what the hydrocyanic, maybe like cyanide.
And then writing something on a piece of paper.
I'm actually going to highlight and see if it'll tell me the definition of garroting. Oh, garrot. Kill someone by strangulation.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I didn't know that.
You know what sucks? I should know that because I've been looking up different words for killing people and different ways of killing people for stories.
Yes, stories.
We're writing stories.
Yeah, stories. Yes.
If I ever became a serial killer and the law was on to me, I'd just be, no, I'm a writer, man. Listen, I got a podcast.
Yeah, that's a horror writer.
Yeah. So it almost sounds like your diarrhea disc idea where it was so detailed that it seems that you may have utilized that in your life. Nah, man, I just know things.
Yeah, that's just being creative.
It ain't illegal to note things, fella.
Yes, it is.
It will be soon. If the victims are killed by ordinary methods, but found under strange and identical circumstances each time, it might serve the reader, of course not knowing until the end, that the method of murder is ordinary. It's a lot of words to put together for me not to understand what it said. I don't know what the fuck that meant. Sometimes when I read something, I don't comprehend it as much. Did you comprehend that?
Not really.
Okay. It's not just me. Scribes who have by the way, the actual purpose of writing is to communicate something as clear as possible for others to understand. So if you're not doing that, you're not good writing. It's not good writing. Scribes who have their villains' victims found with butterflies, spiders, or bats stamped on them can conceivably be flirting with this gag. So that's more stuff. Probably it won't do a lot of good to be too old, fanciful, or grotesque with murder methods. I feel in 2025 you got to be more grotesque.
Well, I mean, I think it depends though. If you're doing, I see what he's saying. Like if you're doing like a pulpy story that takes place.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the genre.
Yeah.
Obviously, a pulpy story would. It wouldn't be written as a splatterpunk murder type of story. The different thing for the villain to be after might be something other than jewels, the stolen bank loot, the pearls, or some other old ones. Here again, one might get too bizarre. I feel like any modern pulp story, if you're writing it in the current setting, it would be about stealing boats, man, or stealing
cryptocurrency.
Yeah, things like that. Stupid things that nobody actually cares about. Unique locale, easy. Selecting one that fits in with the murder method and the treasure thing that villain wants makes it simpler, and it's also nice to use a familiar one, a place where you've lived or worked. So many pulpiteers. Is that what we're called if we write pulp? I like that. I'm a pulpiteer. Fuck you, motherfucker. What are you, a writer? No, sir, I'm a pulpiteer. Yeah. So many pulpiteers don't. It sometimes saves embarrassment to know nearly as much about the locale as the editor or enough to fool them. Again, a lot of words that I am only slightly understanding the meaning of, but I'm assuming that says that you should write a story where it's either the setting is so known, such as like a New York City, that nobody has trouble following it, or so unique, say 1950 San Francisco Chinatown, where if you write it well enough, the reader and the editor feels like they know, but they don't actually know anything about that place. They don't know if what you're saying is a bunch of lies. Probably would be. If you're a writer, most likely you are a professional liar. Here's a nifty, much used in faking local color. Okay, I'm not... Listen.
That's weirdly said.
I'm not fucking, like, I am reading this correctly, so I am not having a stroke. I think I am trying to understand this as best I can. Here's a nifty, much used in faking local color. That's weirdly said.
Yeah. No, what I think is happening, Caleb, I think you just developed a form of dyslexia. Like, I think you just became dyslexic right now. And the words are just backwards in your mind.
I don't think so, but I'll just assume that's true. For a story laid in Egypt, say, author finds a book titled Conversation. Was this written by AI?
I mean...
That's what it's reading like to me. For a story laid in Egypt, say, author finds a book titled Conversational Egyptian Easily Learned, or something like that. He wants a character to ask an Egyptian, what's the matter? He looks in the book and finds El Khabar. To keep the reader from getting dizzy, it's perhaps wise to make it clear in some fashion just what that means. Occasionally, the text will tell this, or someone can repeat it in English, but it's a doubtful move to stop and tell the reader in so many words the English translation. The writer learns they have palm trees in Egypt. He looks in the book, finds the Egyptian for palm trees, and uses that. This kid's editors and readers into thinking he knows something about Egypt. This guy's 98 years old. This kid's editors, like, this is kidding them.
Yeah.
Like, tricking. Just say tricking. Or maybe this guy is so ingrained in Pulp Fiction that he can only talk in old-timey talk.
That's the only way of communicating.
When you're joshing with the readers, see, what you want to do is really kid them around, and then everything will be comic, and everyone will have a good old gay time. All right. Here's the second installment of the master plot. Divide the 6,000-word yarn into 4 1,500-word parts. I do like that idea. In each 1,500-word part, put the following. I always think about this and forget it immediately and then fuck up the pace of my story. I need to think of my stories, and that would help me keep the word count low. I always think beginning, middle, and end, but I never do like a 4-part where it's like, here's this, 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 and this, and then you have a whole story come together. But here's the first 1,500 words, Spencer. First line, or as near thereto as possible.
Jesus. What's with this guy?
I'm gonna read this again. Number 1. First line, or as near thereto as possible, introduce the hero and swat him with a fistful of trouble. Hint at a mystery, a menace, or a problem to be solved, something the hero has to cope with. I hope he calls somebody a rogue.
Yeah.
When your villain comes in, he's a rogue, he's a fiend. I've been using rogue a lot in real life now. People were, you're a rogue, like just, fuck them. Number 2, the hero pitches in to cope with his fistful of trouble. He tries to fathom the mystery, defeat the menace, or solve the problem. Did I just read that or no? Number 3, introduce all the other characters. I feel like I'm reading the same thing over and over again. Number 3, introduce all the other characters as soon as possible. Bring them in on the action. Bring them on in action. Bring them on in action. Sorry. I didn't want to misinterpret this person's words. Number 4, hero's endeavors land him in an actual physical conflict near the end of the first 1,500 words. So yeah, I would always, if I can, bring the action or some sort of drama within like the first 2 pages. I prefer, if I can, the first page to incorporate at least the drama. It doesn't have to be the action, but so say my Kay Kowalski story, it opens up with him getting ready for his boxing match. He's in a locker room. It's kind of a depressing situation. And then within the first, it's in the first scene anyway, so like not even the first page. Within the first page, I introduced some drama about like his past, like just pepper it in, and getting, this guy's kind of a bum now, nobody believes in him anymore. So that's like the drama. And then obviously the boxing story, so it does get to the action fairly quickly. But if you don't bring the action in very quickly, at least bring in some sort of drama or conflict or something to get the readers engaged and interested. Number 4, heroes' endeavors land him in action. I already read that. Number 5, near the end of the first... This guy used right words. Number 5, near the end of first 1,500 words, there is a complete surprise twist in the plot development. So if you're doing a pulp story, adding a twist is always fun. Like maybe there's you're writing a crime noir story and there's a shooting takes place, and at the very last second, the protagonist who almost gets shot catches a glimpse of the perpetrator running away, and it looks a lot like the client that he just took on. So it's like, why would the person who hired him to investigate be the one trying to kill him? What a twist. So far, does it have suspense? Is there a menace to the hero? He loves using menace. Is there a menace to the hero? Does everything happen logically? At this point, it might help to recall that action should do something besides advance the hero over the scenery. Suppose the hero has learned the dastards of villains have seized somebody named Eloise, who can explain the secret of what is behind all these sinister events. The hero corners villains, they fight, and villains get away not so high. It's usually a common trope in pulp fiction and just storytelling in general that the first encounter with the hero and villain ends with the villain getting away, and often the hero, if not outright losing, is not better for the wear. Think of Bane breaking Batman's back. So the hero is, that gives them a reason to not just seek some sort of vengeance, but have to come back from something and then rectify their failure later in the story. That gives a more satisfying end, in my opinion, versus just a story where the villain and hero encounter each other, they have a fight or whatever, and the villain just gets away. There's a lot of stories where you have that the villain just gets away and then the hero eventually gets him. But if you use like the hero actually fails, that gives it a better arc, in my opinion. Hero should accomplish something with his tearing around, if only to rescue Eloise. And surprise, Eloise is a ring-tailed monkey. The hero counts the rings on Eloise's tail if nothing better comes to mind. They're not real. The rings are painted there. Why? I feel like I'm reading another language that's written in English. Like, I feel like the words are there. They're English words, and they're even mostly in the correct order, but somehow used in a way that doesn't convey a message to me. I don't understand what I'm reading. Who's Eloise?
I'm feeling like it must be like a callback to some pulp like story.
Maybe.
But what I think he's saying is like this monkey has tail, like rings around its tail.
I thought it was a lady.
Oh, I don't know.
No, it says monkey, but I thought it was a lady at first.
And
she turned out to be a monkey. That's the twist. How did you not know the hairy arms were monkey arms?
But like, so the monkey has rings around its tail, and you check, and you can tell that they're painted on. So why, like, I don't know if that's again like another like the mystery. Like,
I hope there wasn't a sex scene before that in the dark. It was like a voice.
I don't know. Was the monkey smoking a cigarette?
Why is your ass so hairy? Yeah, it was probably smoking a cigarette. It's a pulp. They all smoke cigarettes. I guess modern pulp, they probably vape. Second 1,500 words. Shovel more grief onto the hero. That's a good one. Hero being heroic. Number 2. Hero being heroic struggles, and his struggles lead up to 3. Another physical conflict. 4. This is oddly put. This doesn't need bullets or numbers. 4. A surprising plot twist to end the 15. So essentially, always have a plot twist at every 1,500 words.
A fight and a plot twist.
It's like that Always Sunny when they're trying to make a movie and Dennis has his ideas and it's just like Dolph Lundgren and just having a lot of sex scenes. And it was like some action and then full penetration. Action, go back to full penetration. And this goes on for an hour and something minutes. Then it just kind of ends. It's a lot of twist and ends. Now, does the second part have suspense? He also goes into caveman speak a lot, where just now does second part have, like, not just say the second part. It's throwing me off. Does it have suspense, Spencer? Does the menace grow like a black cloud?
I don't know.
Is the hero getting it in the neck?
Maybe? I think that depends on what you're reading.
Is the second part logical? Why in the neck? What does that mean? What does all this mean?
Maybe he's a Wu-Tang fan, and that's his way of telling you,
protect your neck.
Yeah.
Don't tell about it. Show how the thing looked. These are very oddly placed informational anecdotes and stuff. Like, it's just like they just throw in, oh, here's an idea you should follow. Yeah. Like, there's no sense to this. Like, it goes from numbered bullets to random colon and then just random sentences and then paragraph that's completely different. There's no order to this. So Mr. Dent, I hope his book is better put together if it's a real book. This might be all a gag. I don't know. So don't tell about it. Show how the thing looked. This is one of the secrets of writing. Never tell the reader. Show him. Always him. Very gendered language this fella follows. This must have been written in 1948. He trembles, roving eyes, slackened jaw, and such. Make the reader see him. Well, yeah, I mean, you don't want to just tell him that. That's stupid. Show him this. I don't think I'm going to make it through this. When writing, it helps to get at least one minor surprise to the printed page. Yeah. It is reasonable to expect these minor surprises to sort of inveigle. I-N-V-E-I-G-L-E. Inveigle. I'm going to look that up. That don't look like a real word. That's a word that I've never seen in my life. What does it mean? Persuade. Just say persuade. Like, not inveigle. Surprises to sort of persuade the reader into keeping on. They need not be such profound efforts. One method of accomplishing one now and then is to be gently misleading. Hero is examining the murder room. The door behind him begins slowly to open. He does not see it. He conducts his examination blissfully. Door eases open, wider and wider, until, surprise, cock.
The ear.
Right in the ear. Always in the ear. Right in the neck. Yeah. That's what got him in the neck. The glass pane falls out of the big window across the room. It must have fallen slowly, and air blowing into the room causes the door to open. Then what the heck made the plane fall so slowly, Spencer? More mystery. Was it the monkey lady?
Ooh.
Characterizing a story actor consists of giving him some things which makes him stick to the reader's mind. Tag him. Build your plot so that action can be continuous. Random, all capital letters here. This is a big point. Third 1,500 words. So we're in the third 1,500 words, and do you know what number one is? Shovel the grief onto the hero. More grief. Oh, non-stop grief. So our hero is Peter Parker.
And I'm guessing there's going to be a fight and a plot twist.
So you're saying there's probably going to be a physical conflict and a plot twist?
Yeah.
At the end of the next 1,500 words? Let's find out. Number 2, hero makes some headway and corners the villain or somebody in. Number 3, a physical conflict. No way.
What?
Number 4, a surprising plot twist. A surprising plot twist in which the hero preferably gets it in the neck bad.
Right in the gizzard.
This poor guy is getting fucked in the neck hard. I told him not to investigate that fucking old porn factory. He's getting in the neck. Does it still have suspense? The menace getting blacker. This is a really dark menace, and I'm wondering now, starting to wonder what the menace is.
You know what the menace is.
If it's like a guy named Jerome, I'm going to be a little upset. The hero finds himself in a hell of a fix. It all happens logically.
How? How does all that happen logically?
These outlines or master formulas are only something to make you certain of inserting some physical conflict and some genuine plot twist with a little suspense and menace thrown in. Without them, there is no pulp story. It's very easy to write pulp stories, apparently. These physical conflicts in each part might be different, too. If one fights with his fist, that could take care of the pugilism until next the next yarn. Same for poison gas and swords. There may naturally be exceptions. A hero with a peculiar punch or a quick draw might use it more than once. The idea is to avoid monotony. Action, vivid, swift, no words wasted, create suspense, make the reader see and feel the action. Atmosphere, hear, smell, see, feel, and taste. Description, trees, wind, scenery, and water. Not what I think of when I think of pulp. I don't think of outdoor woods, but all right. The secret of all writing is to make every word count. Here we go. Fourth, 1,500 words.
I wonder what's gonna happen.
What do you think? Do you think there's gonna be grief shoveled upon the hero, or do you think maybe he'll finally overcome the grief?
Well, the grief's at the very end, man. He'll maybe overcomes the grief, but I say more grief.
More grief.
One final violent conflict, and the surprise ending.
Obligatory twist.
Yeah, the final twist ending.
That'd be 4 twists in this story. Number 1, shovel the difficulties more thickly upon the hero. More thickly. 2, get the hero almost buried in his troubles. Figuratively, the villain has him prisoner and has him framed for a murder rap. The girl is presumably dead, everything is lost, and the different murder method is about to dispose of the suffering protagonist. So James Bond's about to get his balls lasered off. That's what I'm thinking. Number 3, the hero extricates himself using his own skill training or brawn. Number 4, the mysteries remaining, one big, one held up. The mysteries remaining, one big, one held over to this point will help grip interest, are cleared up in course of final conflict as hero takes the situation in hand. Why use many words when few words do?
I would rather fucking listen to that version of this article.
He just omits random fucking words like the and. I don't understand why, but just randomly dives into the caveman talk. Number 5, final plot twist, a big surprise. This can be the villain turning out to be the unexpected person, having the treasure, be a dud, the monkey lady has a penis. Big twist. Number 6, the snapper, the punchline to end it. So you think of the last, cool line of the story and, chill out and, whatever. We're Arctic Mystery, so he says chill out when he shoots the guy dead. That's what I would put. Has the suspense held out to the last line? The menace held out to the last? Everything been explained? It all happened logically. Is the punchline enough to leave the reader with that warm feeling? Did God kill the villain or the hero? And that's it. That's how it ends. Just yeah. So that's the Lester Dent Pulp Fiction formula. So succinctly put. I don't mean to shit on that article or Lester Dent. I just found that some of that was a little hard to read.
Yeah.
It was worded a little strangely. It was like it was written in 1930 by a dyslexic autistic man who...
You got kicked in the head by a horse?
Who kicked in the head by a horse and may or may not have had sexual relations with an orangutan woman named Alois. Yeah, before we end, let me look up and see if Lester Dent's a real person.
You've been fooled.
Lester Dent, American fiction writer. Okay. Born 1904, died 1959. And he was master plot formula. I don't feel so bad ripping that off because apparently there's many websites that use that exact article. Let me see if this one. What if I pick the worst one, like the worst put together one? No, that's terrible. That didn't even work. What about this one? That's a video. That guy looks how he sounds. All right, I am done. That was the Drug Pet Writing Podcast. Caleb's tips for writing pulp: always pile on the grief. Make sure you have a twist every 10 to 20 words.
A lot of fighting.
I'm going to write a pulp story called The Twist, and it's going to be about the inventor of the dance, The Twist. And the twist is going to be that he stole it off a black man. Because black people created everything fun, including the dance, The Twist. Was that the Beatles? Am I doing a twist?
No, I don't think so.
You sure about that?
The Twist?
Yeah.
The Beatles?
Yeah. The Twist. No, that was fucking Chubby Checker, you asshole.
Oh.
And he was very black. I know. I like Chubby Checker. No, what's the song I'm thinking of? The Beatles. They had a twist-like song. Was it Scream and Shout? Was that also the twist?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, but I still don't think that was the Beatles.
The Beatles songs.
The one you make me want to jump and
Twist
shout.
and shout. I'm not that stupid. It was Twist and Shout. I just they ripped off Chubby Checker.
Who hasn't?
That's a great name, Chubby Checker. So if you want to write a good pulp story, I guess you could follow that formula. My only gripe with that is the fact that that formula is tried to death. I mean, everyone from 1906 to 2025 has used that formula to some degree, probably, but it works.
But I mean, like, I guess if you want to go like do the full blown like full pulp story, like,
yeah,
there's that. But then if you just want to do like kind of like a pulp, like a pulp, a more real, like, you know what I mean, you can do different
pulp
stuff.
Adjacent.
Yeah,
I prefer literary pulp. So I like the pulp formula, but with a higher end language and surprises that are fun but still make you feel something, versus like the old Robert E. Howard or some of the other like fun mystery stories, like a Raymond Chandler, where it's just a lot of like, even though there's stakes for the character, when you're reading it, you feel there's no stakes. You ever like get one of those cozy mystery type of deals where it's like, yeah, I get this is like a big deal in these people's lives, but I don't really give a shit. Versus more of a literary pulp story where you're reading it and you feel like more invested, where it's like, oh, you know, if this guy fails, it feels like a big deal. Versus some of the classic pulp stories are like, well, this guy he fails, and what, fucking gangsters get some money. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, if you like that episode, I don't know why you wouldn't. You can follow us at DPW Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and you can comment how you hate our guts, and or conversely, how sexually aroused our voices make you, especially Spencer.
Yeah.
And you can follow him at OnlyFans, where he is in Kilkenny, and he is killing koalas. For what reason? It's a twist. I don't know. Probably because they gave him chlamydia and he wants revenge on the whole race of koalas. Are they like a monkey, or what are they? Marsupial or monkey?
I always kind of thought more monkey like.
Yeah, but that'd be like saying a sloth is a monkey.
Yeah.
Sloths aren't monkeys.
No.
I don't know how to spell koalas, so I'm not looking it up. You can check out my work at calebjameskay.com. I have a fancy publication history now, so you can buy some books and you can read some of my stories. I'm trying to think, do I have any stories that are more pulp at the moment that have been published? I have stories that follow the pulp formula, but I didn't specifically write them to be pulp stories. But I'm trying to think off the top of my head, I'm not quite sure. I mean, My Dead Men Don't Scream and Beautiful Darkness is a monster story, but though it's written kind of in a literary style, it is still very pulp influenced.
It's more like a
Lovecraftian. See, that's what that did explain. That was more, I felt, crime pulp.
Yeah.
Versus where Lovecraft was still pulp. That was just horror pulp. So yeah, I guess horror pulp. Maybe that's what it was. Right. Anyway, thank you for listening. We will check you out next week, where we will probably discuss something stupid.